Love is important. Love one another.
What's good? Salute to my listeners, salute to my comrades behind enemy lines, and welcome to the State Razed session. I'm your host, K-Rob. You know what it is. Every week we're here choosing our path to liberation while hosting this informative dialogue highlighting America's systemic issues and the importance of a unified race state. Let's get it.
Represent the State Razed. Y'all know what's up with us.
What's good? On this week's episode, we're joined by a local favorite. He's a Haitian American brother who's always serving communities, and I mean literally. Before unlocking his talents later in life, this film producer, songwriter, author would first have to survive against all odds the dark streets of North Miami through the 1980s. Here's my eye to eye with Vladimir Duboise. Hope you enjoy. Vladimir Duboise is with us today. Welcome to the State Razed session.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, this is something that means a lot to me because this individual, when we first crossed paths years ago, I seen a lot of his genuine fire. You know, that fire that's just going, no matter what, I'm getting from here to there. And then the other thing I seen in this gentleman was, you know, the poise to believe outside of it all, meaning you could have your own dream but when you come across other people, are you just as welcoming? You know what I'm saying? When you come across other people, do you care about other people just like yourself, you know? And this gentleman, he has a passion, he has a heart, and I wanted to make sure we got him to the State Razed session. So once again, V, big brother, big V, Vladimir Duboise, welcome to the State Razed session. Thank you, man. Honestly.
Man, thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate that, man. You know,
thank you for being here. And for the listeners out there, I want to start from your experiences with coming from nothing. I mean, everybody that knows you got multiple books written. You even have something written for the children, for the family as well, which is great.
Yeah, 2 children books.
Right.
Recently wrote this one. I washed my hands.
Right. I washed my hands. That's what's up.
And this one definitely here. They love me so.
They love me so.
I wrote that for my daughter.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah,
and we also know about Consequences of a Side Chick.
Oh yeah, that's for the adults right there.
Yeah, that's the well, that's part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, part 1 and part 2. I got that.
A lot of lessons. Huh?
You know, go to VladimirDuboise.com and you'll find the books there.
Okay.
On Amazon too as well.
Amazon, no. Your book is everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. As soon as you put it in Google search, it's gonna be everywhere. You can get it anywhere.
Yeah. And
that's straight up. There's people who use Google and stuff. You can't find it. Like your shit just keeps going down. And any case, man, because of how far you come and I have a personal knowledge of your accomplishments. Take me back to your journey in life where you know you started your lessons. And
I've always been a good writer, man. I've always writing was a passion of mine. You know, whether I was writing rap or whether I was writing a story or whether I was writing poetry, it's always been one of my passions. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the best at writing, but I did the best I could, and it just became something that I fell in love with. You know,
right.
But what pushed me to writing is I had a teacher who told me, "Man, this is really good. You should continue writing. You should push. You know, not just that."
What age was this?
I was in the 9th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, she pushed me, man, and you know, from there I just kept on writing. But then as I got to high school, you know, I was getting in trouble a lot. So writing just became secondary now. You know what I'm saying? Survival came the first thing for me. You know,
what was it like in the survival in the earlier years? Where were you living? I think it was North Miami Beach.
No, North Miami.
North Miami. Okay. Okay.
Miami.
North Miami. What was North Miami like back in the days before
North Miami
teenage
back
years?
in the days, man, it was survival of the fittest, man. Although we had it was a different different atmosphere, man. Definitely, coming from a Haitian background, it's nothing but Haitians there. You might find a few Hispanics, but it was definitely Haitian dominated.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't.
Free.
I'm
It's
not
had
the
its.
right words to put it, but it was definitely one of those things, man, where you had to survive.
That's
You know,
right.
because in
That's right.
Miami, we don't have gangs, we have cliques. Like I said, it's like
Right.
you either with them or you're not. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we know and we found out in our easy description. It's not hard to find out that you was a good fighter back in the days.
Yeah.
All right. One punch knockout type stuff and everything, and carrying around this name of Mike Tyson. So you come a long way, brother. So
I took on the biggest and the baddest, man.
biggest and the baddest. Sometimes being bad could just get you into deeper trouble. And it's like some trouble you try to stay away from, and that shit be so unpredictable, man. So how was it that you were so bad and you didn't fucking cripple nobody or
you
probably did. You probably did. My bad. We ain't gonna talk about that. Probably crippled somebody's jaw a few times, a whole bunch of times. But now, what was that like trying to, just bob and weave? Because obviously you got a good heart. You come from a good family. How was it, just trying to stay out of this shit, but yet get to where you wanted to go?
I was an angry kid. I was angry.
Okay.
That's another story for another time. I guess, I didn't come from a good background, I guess you could say. My dad was the best. But coming from, my mother's household, I was angry all the time.
Okay.
I took that anger to school. Every time someone says something slick, I would fight. I'm not proud of it, but it was just one of those things, man. Like, especially, me personally, I'm gonna tell you, I bullied the bullies. I took on the biggest and the baddest.
Right.
That's where I earned the name Tyson from, because just the one hit. I was just angry.
You know what? Mike Tyson has a similar point to it, man.
It wasn't a good. I'm not gonna say I had a great background. I'm gonna just say that I had a background and I needed guidance. And,
right.
I got a couple of mentors I can say today that they definitely didn't give up on me.
All right. Well, that's where we're going next. We're not here to highlight the things when you were younger, but the things that you made it through and you were able to use as a stepping stone and to rise to bigger and better things. Those are the things we want to highlight. So who was your inspiration during them times, and who did make a difference for you?
Man, I got a list of names, but when it comes to writing, I'm gonna say Tupac, I'm gonna say Biggie, and I'm gonna say, listening to 50 Cent. I know a lot of people like 50 Cent. I definitely like those artists because their music, their whole song just, it felt like they were talking about me, like everything that they were going through. It sounded like me.
There you go.
Yeah. So they were definitely one of my inspirations.
Yeah, 50. He's a reflection of his work ethic. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you definitely I definitely can see you moving in that direction with all that. Because you're a workhorse, man. You don't stop. You're always in the spin. And I respect that about you.
So much ideas, man. You gotta, when you got them ideas, you gotta put it to work,
Gotta manifest.
Yes. Definitely.
Well, when I came across your respect and your words as a man, and I looked you in the eye for the first time, I knew what it was, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to make sure, I commend you on your successes as a writer and all your other accomplishments, you know what I'm saying? because it's not easy. It's not just not easy, but it's a lot. It's a lot for anybody when you got the psyche involved. You know what I'm saying? The development of a child's mind and a young adult and the shit that kids are exposed to sometimes, the things that kids are exposed to. And then you have this shape and reforming that goes on as growth takes place. I know this because I have a story also. So that part that you know, it's okay if you don't want to elaborate on, you know, whenever you do get ready with it, we can get jiggy because I could finish your sentences for you. You know what I'm saying? Like all types of abuse, all types of shit, man. I mean, people go through things, you know, and but what's more important is the seeds we plant along the way once we start learning and once you start bobbing and weaving, learning how life goes. And that you have done, you know. So all right, let me just bring you back to one of your accomplishments with the book, with the consequences of a side chick. What was some of the things that obviously not inspired you? To anybody that really understands, probably, but what were some of the things that that you learned through that process that you went through? Because it's a true story, and I want everybody to know that. You know what I mean? It's a true story, and I'm sure a little bit of everybody can relate. But what are some of the things that you learned in that whole ordeal?
Well, the most important thing is everything ain't green on the other side. Nah.
Here it is.
Yeah, man. So and then the one thing is that, you know, that 80 and that 20 is real. You know, when they, you know, the girl that I got, the good girl that I had, I'm talking about, she was 80%, and then the side chick was 20%. It's real. The side chick, all she was good for was sexual activity. You know what I'm saying? Then you had the good girl who cleaned, cooked, who did everything. But I was looking for more than just what she was doing. I think I was looking for action. You know, yeah, so I was the bad guy at that situation.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I think I learned. Well, I say that I learned. I know that I learned that don't take things for granted.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, not taking things for granted. In the end, but what a lot of other men will get through it, I believe, will get from that story as well, is that, you know, sometimes you just gotta get your grown man on. You know what I'm saying? And be able to settle down in yourself and do what's healthy for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I believe you gotta take the time to, if it's something that you're lacking at home, you know, the wife is lacking at home, girlfriend, whatever it is, take the time to, you know, express, communicate, talk, and tell her, you know, what you're looking for and what she can do to spice up the relationship. You know, I think going out and looking for something else, because I tell you this, you go out there and look for something else, it's going to be different than what you got at home. Might not be what you're looking for.
Always just a desire, a part of the flesh, huh? It's just the flesh calling.
Oh yeah, yes. I learned my lesson.
Well, the lesson obviously was great. I mean, today you have a beautiful family.
Yes.
How many children you have?
Got three.
3 children.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't put in the intro as far as your accomplishments, is being a super dad, man. I messed up there.
I'm big on being a dad, man. Like,
I know.
You know, I'm big for it, man. Any father out there that needs some assistance, man, I'm there for you. You know, I know a lot of dads that are going through certain situations with child support. I have a group on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, the father's rights.
The father's rights, y'all, on Facebook. That's what's up. Elaborate.
Supporting fathers who are going through certain situations, or supporting fathers who need motivation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But me, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't support deadbeat dads.
Don't support that. The deadbeat dad thing. And when I had my children, it made me come to grips and understand a lot of different things. And that was one of the things that I was like, oh, smack, like, you know, you do the tail of the tape. You know, you have kids and it never stops, but you learn real quick how you're different from other parents. And that was one of the things I learned. I was like, man, my dad, no matter what, he was there. He made sure he was going to be a part. And I never missed a beat with him. He never missed a beat with me. But there are people out there, and I reflected on people I knew over the years before, kids that wouldn't honor that. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a situation. And that's crazy.
If it wasn't for my dad, I think I'd be in prison right now.
Of course, man. That's great. Your dad is great. Tell me about your dad, man. Tell me a little bit about your dad, if you don't mind, man. Nah, your dad played. He did his part. You heard what you just said? I had a great dad. I had an awesome fucking dad, and I ended up in prison. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, elaborate, man. Because there are people out there that can look and say, now I understand. You know what I'm saying?
My dad wasn't with my mom, so he had his own family and he had us, but he always took care of us.
Okay.
He always was trying to make sure we were in school and we had everything we needed. He always came and gave us some word of encouragement. Make sure you go to school, make sure you do this. But me, man, I'm looking towards the streets, and the streets was my big brother. And
the American fabric had you, no doubt. Yeah, it's American fabric.
Yeah, so on the weekends, my dad would come over and he would always say, hey, listen, I'm here if you need me, whatever you need. And he always checked on us. Some might say, oh, hey, that was a part-time dad. Now, he was a good dad. He is a good dad. Like, he always made sure we had everything. And so he taught me to be a good dad. And that's why I'm really big on fathers. Like, I'm big on that, man. Like, yo, well, you ain't got this for your kid. Let me see what I can do. I got a lot of connections, so I use those connections to help people, man. I see a dad that in need. I'm your man. I am your brother's keeper. That is a fact.
Says a lot. That says a lot about everything, man. Your person, your motive, your drive, everything. That says a lot. Dads, it brings me, I don't want to bring me to a point too quick, but responsibility of men within their community. And my dad and the figures that I was around when I was coming up, I didn't value them until later on, like yourself. But I understand now that mentorship and man-to-man counsel is always needed, and it's needed in these current times that we're living with. It's been needed, it's overdue, but brothers need counsel. They need that other half to look them back in the eye and to know that the other half understands, but I got your back on a different platform now, on a different battlefield, on a different chessboard, So as men, I think we need to start reevaluating our positions in our communities that we're from and we live in. So I'm right with you on that.
Yeah, man, I believe in that highly, man, especially nowadays. If you're given a position, like I said before earlier, use that position of power to help people, especially helping people like you and I, because nowadays we're given that position. We are the gatekeepers.
Right.
So you're going to open the door for someone in need who's wanting the help. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I need your help. Like I told you the story of a friend of mine who got out of prison. He was doing a 4-year bid. And he came out of prison. He's like, man, yo, no one wants to give me a job. I can't find a job nowhere. How am I going to feed my kids? I told him, man, listen, I can get you a job as long as you don't murder nobody. I was able to get him a job. And happy to say he's been there ever since. He's been there for 4 years now, 3 years.
So something simple like that. People help each other. Some people help each other all the time. Some people don't highlight what they do enough. But in this case, you have somebody that don't have no bread and butter, they don't have no job, they don't have no resource, and you're able to step into their world and turn a switch and affect their life.
Mm-hmm.
That is the power of love and kindness.
Yeah.
The basis of my show is based on love and kindness. And it's not, you're here for all the great reasons, but it just shows and says a testament to why you're here, because it takes that love and kindness, and that's what it's going to take for us to put things back into perspective within our communities. Yeah, and have being able to plant those seeds, you know, and the young ones seeing you move like this and operate like this. I think we just need exposure. You know, the good men out here, you need exposure for the, you know, for whoever, but definitely the young generation be able to see and grasp who's, you know, who's making an example with it all. Because when you're young and you see older people, they're automatic superheroes because they're older. You know what I'm saying? You either gravitate towards them or you don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, but when knowing what we know now and seeing how you can deliver this and be, you know, be understanding, be able to converse with a young person, being able to, like you said, in a literary context, being able to write and express your feelings and get your points across. That's a powerful position to be in. You know what I'm saying? So best believe, right, planting seeds is the goal, and you are in the process of planting seeds, and that's the goal. You know what I mean, for all of us. Right. That's the goal for all of us. You know, right now.
You know, I think, man, if you are the gatekeeper and you're not helping nobody, who you inspiring? Who you trying to help? Like you really got to ask yourself, are you one of the crabs in the barrel, holding people down, not trying to allow them to get through the gates? Mm-hmm. You know, I want to help, especially if I know that you need the assistance, you need the help. You just like me, I want to help you. So I'm going to open that door for you. And I'm just going to open it. Whether you walk through is the decision that you have to make. And I've always given people that opportunity. Hey, I'm just a gatekeeper. I'm going to open the door. You want to walk through it? I'll change your life. Mm-hmm. I'll change your life. I will change your life. You walk through that door. You know,
that's a hell of a position to be in, to have that perspective right off the jump in the podcast. This podcast is about being able to make a difference in people's lives. Why? Because of the structure of it. This conversation that you and I may have is needed at another table, and it's a round table where we might have a local city official that is trying to understand the complexity of a city and issues in the city, poverty in the city, homelessness in the city. You have the roundtable dialogue where someone that may have resource may be from a different community, totally opposite from the one you grew up in, but wants to make a difference, but doesn't know how. All right. Mm-hmm. So you have this roundtable dialogue with a position for a person like that as well. The objective of this is to bring people together through love and kindness, but bring people together from different communities in order to make a unified change. You know what I mean? Take a stance that's independent, that involves responsibility for your community and your people, and from there unite and be about the solutions, not the talk and the views and the likes. Right. That's where I had got messed up in the beginning. I could have launched the podcast a long time ago, but with what was going on in some of the circles of people I was around, it was about resource. It was about other things. And if it's not about the people first, then it ain't about nothing. So the power in this is, you know, I'm highlighting the same point. What's the power in this podcast to where your angle is with people, and being able to make that difference, being hands-on with people, understanding people's story from the bottom and giving people voice at one round table. If you have a conversation up here and I have my conversation with you down here, and the guy that's homeless under the bridge is having his conversation under the bridge, that's the problem. So bringing everybody together at the round table and being able to come up with unified solutions to a lot of the, systemic issues that we face, but also the basic things, man. It's the food, clothing, and shelter. It's the resource. You know what I mean? And there has to be an exchange of resource. There's a politician, Sheila McCormick. Actually, she's I don't know if you know her, but I believe she represents the Haitian community. Actually, if you don't, Sheila, you're still a great person. I listen to you on the radio, and you have such a powerful, inspirational voice as a woman out there in the Miami-Dade community. So big ups to you. But she told people one day, she was like, before sitting down doing nothing, she said, get up and choose your path. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was when I sat back and I said, you know what? There are many paths to liberation. Choose one. And that's what it was when I heard it.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna give you a quick story right quick. I had moved out of Miami to Polk County, Florida, big ups to Haines City, Florida. And I was staying in a house that I was renting. And I was working at the police station doing maintenance. But I didn't have nothing. I was working for $8 an hour.
Okay.
$8 an hour. Barely surviving, but I was paying that rent at the house. I would not take anything from no one, meaning I wouldn't take no food. I wouldn't take a handout because of my pride. And I didn't believe that people were kind because of how I grew up. And so one day, Angela Pride, her name is Angela Pride, I appreciate her. She came over with a basket full of raisin breads, cookies, food. And she said, here, Vladimir. I said, no, I'm good. She said, take it. And she left it on my table and then she left. Me, I didn't want to eat it, but I was starving. I didn't even have money to go buy food. And I laid down and my stomach was hurting. I got up and I went to the kitchen and I opened up that food and I ate it. The kindness of that lady saved my life. The kindness of that woman made me realize that there are people out there who are kind, and they're not just kind to get something from you. They're just kind because of the kindness of their heart. It's real. Everybody's not bad. There's good people out there. And I had to realize that once I left Miami, because, coming from an area where everybody's angry, looking at you, sizing you up, want to fight, want to shoot, want to kill, because they got something to prove. Here I am going into this different atmosphere, and all they want to do is show me love.
Right.
All they want to do is help me. And I had to get up off my ass and get a better job. I had to continue moving. I'm one of those people, man. I'm always going to work. I'm never going to just lay down and sit down.
Sit, not move.
It's so hard for people to catch up with me because I'm always on the move.
Man.
And because of her, it made me realize, man, I can't be that angry kid no more.
Right.
There's other people out there that's just like me. And
the opportunity.
I just gotta show, like, I'm out there showing people, man. You don't have to show people that you're mad. Why you mad? Find out the source of why you mad and handle that.
You know what happens? Because the earth, while you're doing what you're doing, the world is stepping on you. And there's days when you got to get up and you see all the dirt marks on you because the memory of yesterday's non-accomplishments or yesterday's failures or whatever it is, how the mind works. You know what I'm saying? So, shit's really complex sometimes. You know what I mean? It's deep to say that.
What made me happy? What really made me happy is I'm able to help people. I'm able to, me being in the position, I'm able to get so many Haitian Americans jobs, so many Cubans jobs, so many people jobs.
Right.
So, and just to see them come back and say, man, thank you. You did this.
Right.
It brings the joy to me. That's what makes me happy.
Hell yeah.
To see that their whole life has changed. You know, like I said before, man, I'll change your life, but you got to be able to walk through that door.
Yeah.
You know, I'll help you. What you need. You need a job? All right, no problem. Let me call somebody up. Yo, I got someone who needs a job. You know, but that's just the position that I'm playing, man. Like I gotta make sure that I'm able to help people.
Right.
You know? So.
Let me ask you something else in the line of helping people and stuff like that. When you look at as a whole, as you know, people in communities of, you know, as poverty stricken and things like that, like what is your look on what it would take, what it's going to take, what do we need to do to begin this change? You know what I'm saying? What is it that we need to do first in your eyes to begin this change?
The change
as men, because men play a large part in this.
We have to come together.
Unify. Yeah. But how do we unify? How do we unify when we got so many different type of problems between us? I believe the problems evolve around food, clothing, and shelter, necessities of life. If people had those, they can think a little better about, you know what I mean? But what do you think? Like,
honestly, we need a Martin Luther King. We need a Malcolm X. We need that one leader that speaks for all. We can't have a bunch of chiefs and no Indians. We need I'm just saying, like, if there was someone to step up and everyone respects and listens to this person, I think it'll make a difference in helping the community. Because nowadays you got everybody speaking out, stepping on everybody's toes, and nobody's listening. And although this person might have a great point, this person also might have a great point, but they're all stepping on each other's toes, and nobody's really trying to pinpoint on what the issue is, because they're trying to give out their opinions, and their opinions is like, well, mine is better than yours, so why don't we listen to what I have to say?
Right.
You know, if you really want to help out this situation, I think we need leadership, communication, and understanding. You know, this whole poverty thing, you know, I would say this. If you want to help someone on the street, send them to an organization that helps a person experiencing homelessness. I wouldn't advise anyone to give a person experiencing homelessness money. I wouldn't advise someone to give, and this is just my opinion, you giving them food. We have organizations for that. You provide food to someone who is experiencing homelessness, it's just telling them they have bedside service. They're not gonna want to get off the street because they know you're gonna bring that food for them. But if you have that one person saying, hey, I can get you off the street, I have a bed to provide for you, I have service in this organization, this group that we provide you, bed, shelter, et cetera, et cetera. But it can't be no police officer. It can't be no regular Joe Smo who already has everything established. It has to be someone who is just like this person who suffered on the street, who's overcome, and they can tell you their story too. It takes a lot, man. I mean, we can go deep into it, man, but I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna take a lot.
It has to be that communication with the people on the bottom. There has to be jobs and resource. There has to be an exchange of resource, you know what I mean? So like, you being able to be in a position to give people jobs because you know people, you interact with people, you network with people, or people interact with you in your everyday life. An extension of that should be, you know, the Vladimir nonprofit, you know what I'm saying? .org, whatever it is, it just doesn't stop because each one teach one. The quickest I can formulate this and say, oh, nonprofit for this reason, and we could use this as a voice. I have to teach the next person how to do the same thing. That's the difference. And that's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, when you greet people, when I see you downtown, you know what I'm saying, when you're in your other place of work and stuff, and you're in your zone, you can see when people greet you and you greet people, the eyes, you can see the smile, this energy that you have is for real. So part of my show is lining people up just like yourself and saying, yo, let's do this. Let's make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Let's make a difference in any which way we can. The brothers that are coming home from long prison sentences that don't have nothing, when you do time, it's not this you sit there. There's so many ways to do time. There's so much shit that goes on behind the wall. And when you come home, obviously time has passed, but there's something here in your head that people don't know how it works. And it's like, you do enough time, you come home with a floppy disk to a hard drive world. And the mechanics of the world, the mechanics, the way other people think and the way people you come home and it's all different. And that's just for one side of it. You have people that experience so much through life that there's this growth that has to happen. People have to undergo this growth. And if it's a male, you have to go through this transition. A lot of young adults going through the sauce, going through situations, never get a chance to grow mentally, emotionally. So how can you respond to the world? How can you know what I mean? It's like you said, people are mad. They're inside out to the world and shit.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? But that's why I was like that. My frustration, I did other shit. It's to say now that even for the individuals out there in the community selling poison to their people, even to the individuals that are out there so caught up in the materialistic fabric of this world and this society, it's all poison to where we're from. Because nobody else is suffering over it. But in our communities, we are. So highlight definitely entrepreneurity and entrepreneurs like yourself. Definitely highlighting people that are planting seeds and creating ripple effects in the communities like yourself. Highlighting, the opportunity in which we all have with one another, which we have. You know what I'm saying? And taking advantage of that, the platform, what we can do for one another, what we can create, sit back, scratch our heads together, come up with some stuff together. These are the circles that we need to create. And that's another chapter. It's another chapter, but it's why you're here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. Also, man, I want to make sure I plug in this book, man. Triggers Passion.
What's the name of it? What's the name of that one?
Triggers Passion.
Okay. Triggers Passion. I forgot about that one on the plug. My bad.
That one right there, man, is based on a friend of mine, called him like my brother. He was killed by the police.
Okay.
So if you ever get a chance, man, look.
What was his name?
His real name was Sanley S. Justin.
S. Justin. What year was that?
2012.
2012. Okay.
Good man. He has his own story, but he has his own story, and I had to make sure I put it on the book. I want to make sure that he's forever immortalized, man. Like he lived forever in that book. His story is very interesting, almost like mine, but his is a little different because he actually went to prison and came back out, and he wanted to be a pastor. He said, V, I had a dream, man, that one day I'm gonna be a pastor, and before he even tried to live that dream out, he was killed by the police. You know, well, I don't want to give too much out, but if you get a chance, read the book. Very good book.
For those of you out there, grab the book. grab anything that my brother here is writing, taking the time to put down.
You know, all my books are based on true stories.
I was just about to say that they all come from true background, and it's definitely a good read. You're gonna get a good
When
read.
you look at the children's book, you know, this is what I'm living now.
Right.
You know, family life, my children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Every book that I've written has all come from something that I've gone through, a storyline, something.
Right.
You know, especially Consequence of a Thigh Chick, Triggers Passion, I Wash My Hand. You know, I Wash My Hand comes from, you know, what we've all are going through, especially with the pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Let people go wash their hands. So everything, like I said, everything that I write is something that we've all gone through or something I've gone through.
This past year, how have you seen this past year? Like, what's your look on what's going on, and do you?
Well, I think what this past year has changed a lot.
Past year and a half.
It's changed a lot of people. It's changed me. It changed, you know, how I conduct business. You know, but it did open up my eyes and writing more books. Like I've got another one on the way, but I haven't published it out yet.
Okay.
But it definitely changed the world. You know what I mean? People are more scared to shake your hand. You know, hug you, family member. It's a whole different world out here now. You know what I mean? I think the world has changed for the long run.
Never gonna go back.
I don't know about ever gonna go back, but it's not gonna be the same.
It's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the same.
The past year and a half to me, it's put me in a great place to give new appreciation for my life and my family,
right,
and my children. I remember moments when I was like in the twilight zone, and I was like, it was like, okay, month at a time, and it was like, okay, and I had these experiences on the inside where your environment starts getting real tight around you and things like that. But that's not really it. It's when it starts happening mentally. You know what I'm saying? You have to really grip, and you're trying to keep the kids afloat, and they had the online schooling going on, and I didn't have time to scream about it all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have time. It was just like, it required so much of us in the moment. It just built character. It kept building character. And, you know, here we are. You know, do I believe anything these people are talking about? I've picked apart, you know, their lies, and I believe I have some perspective as to what's going on. But it definitely is a time to get the hell away from everybody and just time out for a second. You know, America is a country, and I don't want to go on to no big shit about America, but you know, these people are about finances. The people who run in this country is about money. And how can you live in a country where on the nightly news highlight the Delta and this and that, and people are dying by the day? Oh, we're back to it. And then as soon as the next segment, meanwhile, while kids going to school in Miami-Dade, like they went through this shit in the beginning. It was so clear, like you had to send us kids back to school in order for America to work, for you to get your money. You know what I'm saying? If the kids ain't in school, then nobody can work, you know, but, you know, it wasn't, these decisions weren't made for the, you know, for the better of the public. You know what I mean? This was just a mess. It's been a mess. And like you said, I don't believe it's never gonna be normal. And honestly, I believe it's all in the prophecy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a spiritual person, and for what's good is good and what's bad is bad. And there's been this good bad war going on for a long time. That people have been writing scrolls and writing books about it, not religion, just writing about it, because they didn't have Google. So when you go to the scrolls and you go to the words of old, you see history, and you see you get a glimpse as to what's what on the chessboard, man. And this war between good and evil has been going on a long time. The world right now is going through crisis because of evil, because of money, you know what I'm saying? Because of greed. These are things that aren't in the fabric of no being that walks with love, that walks with, you know, generosity in their heart and conducts itself. Look, man, the fabric of this shit is bad, man, you know, and people are going to go down because of the fabric. You know, they can't sit inside. They have to make money. They want to send our kids to school. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's on this fucking gerbil wheel. You know what I mean? And the American government, for the people who do believe in the red, white, and blue faithfully, like, it's okay. It's okay, right? But you know what? The government even shitted on them. The people that, now you've been paying taxes all your life. How old are you? And you ain't good for 2 stimulus checks? They crying on Congress, on Washington, over a couple stimulus checks, and you've been paying taxes all your life? Maybe even on Social Security? You put in work for Uncle Sam. These people collected from you faithfully in all the different areas of finance and insurances that you abided by, so-called American dream, and a pandemic hit, and you ain't good for a couple stimulus checks because you can't work. Nah, man. Nah. So I think America shitted on people that loves America, and it shitted on, you know, everyone else that's been here, you know. And it's a very complex issue why it's this way. I have my opinion on that shit too, but America was built on white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say every white person is bad, man. We ain't gonna have that stupid conversation. But to understand that people are not the same people they were. The people that walk this country are not the same people that founded this country years ago. So how do we live with the same laws and the same rule and the same statutes all around? So there's change. Change has to come. And it will, I believe. You know, I believe it's written, man. You know, Haiti had the biggest uprising in French history. All right. If Haiti hadn't done that, they would be dominated and colonized by the French very heavy right now and have a lot more going on in Haiti. But because they won their freedom, they have gone through it over the years. You know what I'm saying? And the revolts, man, back in the days in Haiti, man, it was another place in the world where people were being inhumane to another people. This is plain, this is simple. So I believe fighting this war with love and kindness as human beings, and identifying with one another, and just being able to be who you are. You know what I'm saying? That's how we're gonna start cleaning some of this shit up. Just be who you are. You know what I mean?
So, definitely.
Yeah, brother. So on the note of, I don't want to turn it into a bad America conversation, but this is about identifying what we need to do and identifying issues in communities, so we can be in a better position, you know.
Right. I agree.
What's your take on a roundtable dialogue, maybe with Sheila McCormick? She's a local politician, but she pushes hard for people at the bottom. She's a local politician. What's your take on maybe a roundtable dialogue? Maybe somebody like her or somebody in her position.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, she's down to make a difference. I got a lot of people in name. I don't want to say the names out loud, but I have a lot of people that could make a difference.
Okay.
A lot of the politicians, I say that, but we do have politicians that's out here that's just trying to get the shine on, but not really making a difference, man. But there are those good politicians out there who do want to make a difference and see some change.
Or community leaders or activists.
Right.
I just say the politician part of it because I think the political circle needs to just catch it needs to hear it from the horse's mouth, needs to hear it from the people. Look, we don't need you we don't need politicians to get us to open our eyes to understand what we need. We already know that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of the problem. We're relying too much on politicians for our issues. You know what I mean? There's an interest in it in politics. You got so much bureaucracy and things involved. It's scary, man. It's scary, and everyone's interest is not being looked out for. So, just to sit back and on a normal conversation tip to say, well, who will be some people that can possibly be great for a dialogue in conversation to bring bring light to some of these issues within communities in Dade County, that are going through the sauce, that's been going through the sauce.
Yeah.
So I would like to just brush up and maybe kick it about that and open up a door of communication where we can formulate some communication with whoever whoever can make a difference.
Like you said, the leaders in the community, those would be the best bet because they make the noise, and the politicians listen. State senators listen. You just have the leaders in those communities to come together and let's make some noise. You're not going to have change if we don't have the people come together. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen if nobody comes together and communicate.
If one of the things that the state race session does, on their eye-to-eye segment, going to the community, I wanted to be able to just have like a gigantic barbecue under one tent, right? And be able to sit people down for a meal, not feed people, but sit people down at the round table and have an honest, just open discussion. You know what I'm saying? Under the next booth, we have the podcast set up. So the people of the community could come out and talk about what's wrong with the community. Who knows the community better? It's not about me. Huh?
Who knows the community better than the people that live there?
Yeah, so it's to set up the camera, set up this whole station right there in the community. It could be in front of the store. It could be in somebody's backyard. That's what makes it authentic. It could be in somebody's living room. With all purpose of safety with COVID and everything like that, with social distancing, but it could be anywhere. But to take it and put in that element where people can identify, and then also with this movement, because you have a nonprofit connected to it and you have resources, you can give people exactly these things that we were talking about in a program sense, you know what I mean? And be able to make change in people's lives. That whether if you're poor, if you're homeless, if you don't have nothing to eat, nothing to eat. If you have these two things, but you don't have a job, you don't have employment, it's to create our own businesses within these communities too, whether they're small businesses or they could be day paying jobs, businesses that operate by the day. Why not? You know what I'm saying? So the nonprofit is there too. And I just want to make sure we could bring people together at a round table setting that can make a difference. And literally the guy under the bridge that doesn't have a voice right now, he needs a voice. The people who drive by him on the way to work, that live on the gerbil wheel, them too. And also the affluent, the rich, the people that might be a little well off, but there's a place in them for trying to understand the complexity of poverty, the complexity of systemic, poverty or whatever it may be. But bring all three of these things to the round table so we could collectively bring about our own solutions. You know what I'm saying? Solutions to these issues. The politicians don't have the solutions. I don't believe the politicians have the solutions, man. You know what I mean? So I believe the power lies with the people. People like you, people like me, you know, people that, you know, woman, definitely don't forget the woman in this whole ordeal. You know what I'm saying? Definitely the woman's voice in the whole chapter of things. Because they, you know, women, you can't tell our story in the chapters and shit we're going through without telling the chapters of the woman. At the end of the day, they're the backbone. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. I agree. But yeah, man.
But yes, on the note of our podcast, this is definitely a good experience to be able to have you out here like this and to be able to give people a chance to see you know, your human side other than the Mike Tyson. Everybody that does know you have a good heart, man.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate you for making sure you stopped in and made sure you connect with us at the State Grade session.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
For everybody that's listening out there, you know, in any way we can support each other, we need to just commit to that. You know, it's not about a like. It's not about, you know, a thumbs up, because I'm not asking for that. What I am asking for is genuinely for people to support what you know you're supposed to support. Here you have a brother that's an author, that's a writer, came up from the bottom, been through all types. Despite what he's been through, he still has a story of accomplishment. And that's the great side of stories like his, because you have these seeds that have been being sprinkled along his journey. You know, you got seeds, and these seeds sprout, these seeds grow. You know what I'm saying? So for people, younger people that are listening to this podcast, for people that are listening, you know, I want you to reflect and to see that we need to support each other, eye to eye, face to face. And that's part of my inspiration for this podcast and this connection that we need to make. But the first, like I said, the first note is being able to demonstrate love and kindness to one another. And today, on today's show, Vladimir Duboise has gave us a glimpse of that, you know, and I think it's important that we zoom in and see where he's coming from, and to know that we can also make that change and be in a position to give. But if we open our hearts first, because this brother, I'm not letting you go yet. When I first met him, man to man, I ain't gotta say nothing to nobody, but you know what, man to man, he was able to counsel me in the moments of meeting somebody, of meeting him. You know what I'm saying? And that's because he was in his process of pursuing what he believed in at that time. And when I say believed in from the sidewalk, I mean believed in from the sidewalk. And we were both on the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean living on the sidewalk, but where we stood was a place, and it was a sidewalk. I was a couple steps from living on a sidewalk, mind you, but his voice was able to create ripple effects in your drive and everything you was pursuing. And I knew, I was just like, yo, that's it. That's it's always gonna take, is just that grind from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So once again, I'm not big you up on that, and that's great. That means a lot, and I want everybody to know that that's how it really happened. And you didn't just talk, we didn't just rap. You gave me your number, we hooked up, you know what I'm saying? And you told me whatever I need to come see you and shit. You know what I mean? It's like whatever. And that there was all I needed to hear. And like you said, you know, somebody gave a fuck that there was another black man out there, there was another brother out there putting the pieces together too. And every time we would see each other, it was like connect, you know what I'm saying? So everyone just believe, man, that you can write, you can be an author, you know what I'm saying? You can direct your movies like my brother man here does. You know, you can make all the differences in people's lives the same way by having a good heart and creating ripple effects in what you do. And people around you start to see that aura and start to see how you move and who you are. You can do that. And so I wanted to bring this brother on the show and make sure we highlighted that and we tuned in on a little bit of everything.
Let me say something before we go. You know, I did a play, which was Consequence of a Side Chick. That was my first play. And I did that play with a penny to my name. You know, so it's because someone believed in me and trusted my idea that we made this play happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I say this, and hopefully people hear this and understand. Don't just inspire to make a living, inspire to make a difference. You get what I'm saying?
There you go.
Help one, teach one, right?
Each one, teach one. Inspire to make a difference.
Yo.
For real, inspired to make a difference. That says a lot, bro. That really does. That really does. There's people out there that don't have the chance, man. Don't have the chance. And I want to say I'm in a rush right now to make a change. I'm in a rush right now to this with the violence going on out there, with the poverty going on there, to look everybody in the eye and just say, yo, we only hustle because we never had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What do we got in common with the younger generation? All of us, you know, the people dying off, so much of the population falling to prison and death and all this other stuff. How? The war on drugs been going on since Ronald Reagan been in office. So obviously it was a failure. Let's highlight these issues and find out where this shit is coming from. Let's highlight these issues and see what's the percentage of the guns manufactured in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Let's see where some of these issues with firearms really are, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what it is. And for anybody listening, I got charges, I got a pass, and I know the way this shit really went down, you know, when it comes to what's available to the public out here and who gets paid for what. So, you know what I'm saying? How can you have a problem with firearms when you're making them in your country and you got a black market where all this shit is sold out the back door? Let's not play stupid. Anyways, that's a whole nother talk. But you got big corporations, man, that are involved in this, man. You know, from pharmaceuticals all the way down, man. And it's always the same people catching the same end of the stick. So we need to get big on this and unify and start creating our own sources of revenue and creating our own resources, period, because there has to be an exchange of resources. That's one thing that I'm campaigning on, is this exchange of resources. And it's nothing to dance around. It's nothing to mess around with. People need resources. Start your company, start your brand, start your vision. It's a physical world, you know, and there's a place for other people to go when they feel froggy and they want to create a startup or something. They have a name, they got a number that goes with it, and they go to this place and they get their startup. Everybody don't have that opportunity, man. You know what I'm saying? Everyone don't have that opportunity. When I came home, ain't nobody give me shit, right? But ain't nobody supposed to, right? But here's the difference. I seen an individual when I came home. It's a quick story for you. And he had his own mentorship program, whatever it is. He had his own chapter connecting with people, supposedly, whether it's behind the walls or whatever. But in this chapter, I found that, you know, it wasn't really genuine for me, because it wasn't about the people that were coming home. It wasn't about the people that was locked up. You know, it was about other things. You know, and we can't connect and trade ourselves for finances. You know what I'm saying? We can't can't bend this. And when I came across this person and I seen that here you had this great opportunity to connect with people, but it was being used for finances. I said, man, I gotta do what I gotta do. And so there was another chapter that inspired me, somebody that has their nonprofit, their shit, but ain't doing nothing with it. Nothing with it. So for the people that are creating, because there's a lot of imposters out there, for the people that are creating resource, that are creating platforms and are creating nonprofits that are making a difference, I salute you, you know, and we all need to connect. And with connecting, we can make a difference, you know. This brother right here is legit, and I back him 100%. And I hope for the future that we can all share a round table and we can back each other 100%. So for my listeners out there, my loyal listeners, for the state raised comrades behind enemy lines, I salute you. Love is love. And one is one, man. Peace to everybody. And for Vladimir Duboise being here, I salute you for your time and your commitment to the cause always.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And till next time when we're at that round table, man, I wanted to be, I wanted to be, because like, oh, all right, we're sounding out, chick. Nah, man. If you're hearing this is how real it is. It's in the real. Because after this, it's the build. It's like, all right, what can we do now? You know what I'm saying? How we're going to make this difference? We plant a seed. So to everybody, love is love, man. We'll be back with V. You'll see more of them. This is my big brother. So we'll be back. Like I said, big round table dialogue, bringing some other heads to make a difference. Love is love. Peace to everybody. I'm signing out. For every chapter that ends, another must begin. Let's do it together. Peace and love.